Peace, peace. Happy now, happy now. Now's the vibrate, of course. We're not going too far in the future, and we're not going too far in the past. Right now, it's the only thing that exists is this moment. I want to speak on Bismuth and how, matter of fact, Bismuth came to me on a like basically getting back to that very strong intuitive vibe with dealing with my crystals as far as picking them out. And you know, lately I went to the crystal shop and I saw the Bismuth, and you know, and I was on that vibe because too, you know, there's so many things. You know, I see the Bismuth, it's like $33, and 33, I wouldn't say that's you know, expensive for Bismuth, but just in the moment I'm like, all right, 33. I wasn't really looking to spend that, but you know, I just kept holding on to it, like the piece I picked up, and I just kept looking at it, and you know, higher self was letting me know, like, look, we got you on the back end, you know what I'm saying, like on, you know, because another thing too, I've been making sure I've been you know, being a little more aware on the budget vibes, you know, because, you know, besides looking, you know, people look at money as just money, but it's an energy, you know what I'm saying? Just like with anything, it's a marathon and not a race, you know? So with that being said, you know, and look at it from that perspective, not saving out of, oh, it's going to be a rainy day, but just more so, hey, it's a marathon, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, preserving energy. Matter of fact, it's no coincidence that our Dantian chakra is the area, you know, to store chi energy. So which means, you know, like we store energy naturally on so many levels, you know. It's just not storing it till it becomes stagnant and not being used, you know. It's a balance with anything. But, you know, again, back to that little vibe, you know, seeing I'm like, I don't know if I want to, you know, get it right now. But then something was like, no, this is, and then I never worked with Bismuth before either, so for sure I was like, yeah, I gotta get a piece. Now I first heard about it, you know, for being like a amplifying, like basically like a time traveler stone in essence, a time traveler's crystal, and that makes a lot of sense, you know, when I think about how Bismuth deals with transformation and also deals with loneliness and isolation. Matter of fact, I'm gonna get into that, but yeah, you know, so back to the little story within the store, you know, it's like you know, seeing like how following my intuition, getting it. And there's one of the situations where when I got it, you know, last time I had a situation like that, I think that was that synchronistic. I had a few others, but the only one I always could remember is just when I bought my first new mic. And because days before I bought new mic, I was just always staring at it and wondering like what that stone is, man. It look cool. I don't see nobody talk about it. And, you know, and then just come later, I'm like, I gotta get it. And again, it had like a little price on it, but I'm like, I gotta get it. Like, I don't care how much it is, you know. Like, again, that's that, you know, again, that balance on the energetic level, but then too, not making sure you're not like scary about it. Like, you know, like being scared to spend, you know, as if you're not one with source and that the abundance can't return back to you, you know. So of course you want to be aware of budgeting, but don't let fear of you know, spending money on yourself be disguised as budgeting. You know, let budgeting actually be like, hey, well, you know what, I really gotta go mail something off tomorrow, and you know, practically I don't know if I'm gonna make another sale between tonight and tomorrow morning, so let me hold, you know what I'm saying, like things of that nature, but not letting it be out of like, I don't know, you know, and then you start to creating all these situations because, you know, this might not come through and this might and then it won't come through if you go into that mode. But let's get back into the Bismuth. Now, coming from my book right here, y'all know the one, the Crystal Power, Crystal Healing. You know, we're going to speak on Bismuth from because honestly though, Bismuth is an element on the periodic table. As a matter of fact, Bismuth atomic number is 83, and 8 and 3 adds up to 11. So, you know, Bismuth also has like a portal opening energy to it, you know, as well, due to that connection with the atomic number. And of course, 11 breaks down to 2. So, you know, that deals with like sharing, not necessarily communication. I always forget a lot of aspects of it, but it is what it is, because I don't want to just say anything, but it deals with that two energy, because the two energy base is like that Taurus energy, that you know, somewhat of a, you know, I say grounding, but you know, like learning how to share and deal with others, you know, like two, because you know, one is like that selfishness, that Aries, me first, this and that, and that two is kind of like, all right, that first interaction with somebody, let me learn how to share and deal, you know what I'm saying, and be, you know, on that type of level. But and also bismuth is used in Pepto-Bismol. That's why it's called Pepto-Bismol, because it has bismuth in it, you know. Now bismuth, speaking on the element of it, and again, the crystals itself is basically, you know, the element bismuth melted down. Matter of fact, I hope that piece, I wrapped it up, matter of fact, with a piece of petalite. And matter of fact, after, so another cool thing about it too, and if you can't see my piece good, you know, just Google bismuth right quick, or when you get a chance, you know, and you'll see like how it has like these little step design, like it's basically like little fractal steps in essence, in all kind of different directions. Well, I was gonna say, oh yeah, it comes in just like a straight up block, and then I say it comes, but from watching people melt it down, you know, it's kind of like blocked up, like no particular design to it in essence. But then they melt it down, and matter of fact, it's one of the few metals that you know, that melts pretty easy. Now, disclaimer, I'm not you know, telling you how to do it. You know, like you have to go watch a video on dealing with bismuth to make your own bismuth crystals. It's not what this video is necessarily about, but just speaking on the fact that, yeah, you know, if you have access or know what bismuth is, you can make your own bismuth crystals or your own little bismuth geodes, all of these things. But you know, you gotta take those safety precautions and all this. And what's cool about it though, after it melts down, and like you either leave it in the pot or you pour it into something else or whatever the case may be, and then you know, when you look at, you know, the inside of it after it forms, like it forms in these little staircase type of vibe, so it naturally, you know, quote unquote naturally forms like that, because of course, you know, you had to melt it first, but by it forming in those, you know, say for instance, a person not taking no little sculpture thing and sculpting those little staircases in it, it naturally comes like that. So you know, it that's something that's encoded in its crystal lattice or in its quote unquote DNA, you know, in its molecular structure. On a physical level, bismuth has disinfectant and contracting properties, so it is used for injuries and healing, in the healing of wounds. In its mineral form, it enhances the ability to regenerate the mucous membranes, and is helpful with gastritis and stomach ulcers. And you see, like, it's helpful with gastritis and stomach ulcers, you know, aka Pepto-Bismol, you know. On a psychological and mental level, bismuth enhances a natural childlike lack of inhibition and playful attitude towards life. It helps us to accept our mortal existence when strong aversion to it exists, and there is a predominant feeling of being lonely and not really at home on this planet. You know, so it's great right now, for matter of fact, because right now, you know, a lot of heart chakra opening is happening. You know, that heart chakra also connected to that Leo energy. You know, and that Leo energy connected to that childlike, you know, like enjoying life, you know, like of course we have a certain level of spiritual maturity and a certain level of accountability. Doesn't mean being childlike where you're not responsible and don't hold yourself accountable, but being childlike as far as just lighten up, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't take everything so serious, and also like lighten up on all levels, because again, in order for you to transition to higher planes, your heart got to be lighter than a feather. So if you down here being all serious and taking things serious, then your heart gonna be heavier than a feather. That's why certain aspect, you know, I forgot, it was like the 100 and whatever confessions, or you know, the laws of Ma'at. Don't quote me on that name. It's something of that nature, something to that name. But basically, like those, you know, those Kemetic principles that came way before the Ten Commandments. But basically, you know, stating, like everything was stated in a manner to let us know, like, hey, everything we doing in this experience is not us. Like, we just in a bodysuit experiencing things. So I'm not the murderer. I am not, you know, the person who fell down on the ground. Like, you know, let me think of other good ones. But you know, I'm I'm not the person who really made my mama cry, or or did that to my, like it was an earthly experience, and that's not my true essence. I am the no thing, the gasless, genderless, you know I don't know why I said gas. Thinking about when we talk about spirit and like moving like gas, things of this nature. But just that. And let me correct that too. Nothing dealing with gas in that man, but again, just that no thing, that genderless, no thing having the experience. So see what that rant. Where was speaking? Oh, the 42, and I think it's 42 or 44. The laws of Ma'at, or the 121 confessions. I think that's it, the 121 confessions. Again, don't quote me. But again, like our existence is remembering, like, hey, like we're gonna be playful. We're not gonna take anything too serious in this this earthly plane of existence. Of course, we're held accountable and we're responsible for the energies that we put out. Obviously so, because the the universal laws are set up where you're gonna be responsible for them, whether you like it or not, because it's gonna come back around to you. But again, Bismuth promotes just that, again, that enjoyment for life, accepting our, mortal existence, accepting the fact that you're in a human bodysuit, accepting the fact that, your penis has an erection whenever you get aroused, and, your yoni gets wet whenever you get aroused, or you get hungry, you know what I'm saying, or, you can scrape your knee, or whatever, you know what I'm saying, putting food into your body, so like it reminds you, like, hey, like accept, like you are now is the vibrate. Who are you right now? You're in the human body, so accept what is, accept the now. By continuously not accepting being here on this earthly plane, it just constantly like throw us in this loop of being disconnected, and not really being able to do what we what our soul wanted to do down here, because we constantly just sitting around like, I want to go back home. Matter of fact, like you being like that child, you know what I'm saying? Instead of a child of like enjoying, you know what I'm saying? You that child, I want to go back home. I want to go back home. I want to go back home. And then what's funny, like, that kid, I want to go back home, but then he kind of look around and you see other little kids playing and things of this nature, and then that I want to go back home change up. Now in our case, of course, we want to make sure we make it back home, but it's not for us to be sitting around right now just like not doing nothing, just I want to go home, So it helps with that energy, definitely. Again, and that feeling of being lonely and not really at home on this planet, it helps clear that out. Now, Bismuth, on a spiritual level, Bismuth helps us to take up, Bismuth helps us to take up, again, forms of spiritual development that had been abandoned owing to external circumstances, and bring them to completion. So, like, any little spiritual development that, like, you stopped dealing with astrology because you had to go work somewhere, or, you had to do this little task externally, so you stopped kind of reading this book a lot, or whatever the case may be. Bismuth will help you kind of get back in alignment with, dealing with, like if I've been away from my crystal books for a long time, say for instance, working with Bismuth, like, kind of allow for me to be in alignment with that energy, to catch up with that, that spiritual practice or divination or information or whatever the case may be, So it's good with that vibe. But that childlike vibe, and another cool thing too was, like, I never read that part about Bismuth when I had the crystal, so I'm working with it the whole time, and I'm wondering why I'm like so in the moment. Because another thing, since I've been having this Bismuth, it's like a strong feeling of being in the now, like not being in your thoughts, like, child, like a child not stressing over, like, oh man, I'm starting this business, man, and this and that. Again, of course, we're gonna be responsible and hold ourselves accountable, but we're not sitting down worrying as if we're not connected to source, and as if, the universe doesn't have our back. You know what I'm saying? Like, the universe always has us, and we just gotta, get into a place of alignment and realizing, sources within us, and sources in the moment, like, like that energy, our true essence. another aspect which was like a strong, like, you know, point to, like, you know, me using at the time. And that's what I was gonna say, because I had like a childlike vibe, you know, again, like that whole time. And then I read that, I'm like, man, you know, that bismuth. And so that's why I was like, the synchronicity with dealing with this crystal lined up so much, you know. Bismuth can also prevent you from becoming overwhelmed by all your responsibilities, while at the same time increasing your energy levels to deal with them. You know what I'm saying? Because again, you know, on our spiritual growth right now, you know, we raising the vibration, you know, we making sure we balancing things out. You know, it could feel overwhelming to deal with, you know, a lot of different aspects on our spiritual growth. So bismuth will help, you know, help for that overwhelming feeling to, you know, not be so strong, and to, you know, bring you more into a sense of, you know, not say at easiness, but, you know, again, like it helps to lower that overwhelming feeling, and it increases your energy levels to take care of those responsibilities that you have. So not only kind of, you know, calms that overwhelming feeling, but it also gives you energy to, you know, take care of those tasks or whatever the case may be. Bismuth also relieves feelings of loneliness and isolation. I kind of spoke on that earlier, because again, on our spiritual growth, and another thing, how that lines up, because again, like the past videos that was, you know, dealing with the Libra full moon, how that's about relationships, and, you know, and us building connections, you know, socializing, things of this nature, you know, and bismuth, you know, again, coming in to help relieve that feeling of loneliness and isolation, you know, not necessarily by promoting, you know, social energy in that essence, but, you know, just again helps you to, you know, again, what they say, helps relieve it, you know, just stops that feeling too, and more so give you that feeling of understanding, and seeing like how lonely, or not say loneliness, but how isolation, you know, in certain points of your day, you know, or certain times, you know, does serve a purpose, you know. Now also, it's a crystal of transformation and change, helping us to adapt to the change with calm assurance, you know. And that was like on point, because like, you know, all like what, you know, like say for instance, this is the perfect stone to be bird boxing, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like helps to deal with transformation and change, because that's what we're dealing with, transformation and change. A caterpillar never been a butterfly before, it don't know that process. Of course, it might have seen it before or heard about it in a book, but it hasn't went through it till it goes through it. And so it's always, you know, again, like that little vibe of, you know, somewhat anxiety, you know, with this stepping into the unknown. So this bismuth crystal, you know, dealing with transformation and change, is going to help you to adapt to that change with assurance. Like, you're going to feel like calm, and you're going to know like source got me. You know, like that video I just did about trusting, you know, like trusting, even if a situation from what our human minds may see as bad, you know what I'm saying? It's like, there's no such thing as good and bad, you know. Like one person, again, like I used that example before, like a person that may have been incarcerated, you know, they could look at the situation as, you know, bad, and oh man, that shit was evil. And of course that system is set up to not, you know, be, you know, necessarily beneficial to you. But again, on a bigger spiritual scale, you know, pressure makes a diamond, you know what I'm saying? And like some people look at, you know, their incarceration like, man, you know, that shit made me like this, you know, like I learned from that situation, that made me the person I am, you know, that's why I'm so great now, because of that little time I spent in jail, you know what I'm saying? While somebody else like, oh man, no, that was bad, like oh, my little jail visit was good, you know. Again, you just see how people could, you know, it's more so your you know, like how you deal with it. But, you know, again, it's not necessarily bad or good in that essence. You know, and everything serves its purpose, you know. Like these people around us that may be, you know, trying to promote transhumanism, trying to promote mental slavery, you know, they the pressure to make a diamond. You know, of course we don't agree with their ideals and stuff, but, you know, on a bigger scale, understanding like that energy though allows for us to have experience, you know. Like a dog shit, you know, stinks, but it allows for me to realize and love the smell of flowers or things that smell good, you know. But again, crystal of transformation, change, helping that to be, to be assured that, even though I can't see, even though I'm bird boxing, I know that source got me, Also, all right, now, and I said that so earlier when I said bismuth helps to release feelings of loneliness and isolation. So it does encourage cohesiveness, so it would be very helpful in a group and our relationship dynamics. So again, just showing like how on point, again, universe was, higher self speaking to me with dealing with that bismuth. So again, it encourages cohesiveness, learning how to, work in a group, dealing with, again, relationship dynamics. Because, say, for instance, aspect of like, say, for instance, if you're a person that, go to different places, or, like me being in LA, or just, dealing with new relationships, you got to be open. Like, you can't be closed-minded, like, say, for instance, dealing with, people, say, for instance, that you're meeting for the first time, and not being rigid in your vibration, kind of be open, like, hey, well, I'm just meeting this person don't know me, I don't know them, so it's gonna be kind of like little vibes where, we gotta kind of take the time to learn each other, so I'm gonna be as open as possible, and really, as possible. You're not get too open, you don't want the tours feel too open, but you definitely want to again have like that vibe of I forgot how I was saying it, but you get it. But again, encouraging that cohesive vibe. But again, that's basically it. Atomic number 83. Matter of fact, I think about atomic numbers dealing with electrons. So matter of fact, the bismuth has a lot of electrons in it, and electrons, orbit, in that circular fashion. Where am I? Like the periodic table. I don't know if y'all can see. Like the little electrons, like different little orbits. Matter of fact, that was another thing too, like with the quantum level, learning about electrons and how, like, they was watching electrons. Not this, not the slit experiment, because you got the double slit experiment. Go look that up if you want to, see how, like, basically a scientific proof of how our conscious awareness or focus on certain things in this material realm actually manifests, or should I say, our conscious focus or conscious awareness fixed on something in this material realm actually creates, or should I say, changes the matter, like transform or changes the matter in some way, form, or fashion. But again, the double slit experiment. But paying attention to electrons, and they saw how electrons was quantumly jumping from ring to ring, in different orbits, things of this nature. Definitely check that out. But that's basically it. Again, bismuth definitely be a great crystal to work with. Check out your local crystal shops. Wherever you are, again, we are getting to a place of dealing more so with our mom and pop vibes. People that's just starting up with crystal shops. Check your Instagram and your Etsy, and see who maybe, you might be following somebody that deal with crystals. You know what I'm saying? That's another thing too. Helping for the energies of the startups and divine, like, these people starting businesses with this divine energy, coming up with it, compared to certain corporations that's just selling this shit because they know you want to buy it, in essence, like, and don't really care about it, don't have a certain energy about the way they, sharing it with you or dealing with, you know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, that's all I have to say about that. That's basically it, y'all. Working with that bismuth, that busy. I call mine busy bee. Working with the petalite, dealing with that angelic realm. Because we think about the angels or the angelic realm or being childlike. Like kids kind of come off as being like angels because they fresh from that realm. So got that energy to it. Now it's a vibrator, of course. Not going too far in the future. Not going too far in the past. Right now. Peace, peace.